instant access to almost everything has led to the need and the desire for instant gratification. You've got the woman's attention, but is the grass growing, or does it still appear to be greener on the other side? Fellas, let's talk about it. Welcome to the lounge. Let's go.
Hey, said this is a lounge. Culture and justice, you know you can trust that we holding it down. Well, you can bet we applying that pressure, it come by the pound. Speaking the truth and allow us to do what makes us so profound. That's why we got the crown. Said this is the lounge. Culture and justice, you know you can trust that we holding it down. Well, you can bet we applying that pressure, it come by the pound. We living better no matter the weather, we sticking around. Come see what we found. Yeah, this is the lounge. V.S.O.P. for the record, no better. Yeah, this for the wealth. Both of the people are equals, no better. To speak for the culture, our needs and our health. Conscious it reign with dignity, giving the keys to victory and being a man. Lift up the culture, protected from leeches and vultures, and speak for who need in a hand. Cause this is the lounge.
Welcome back to the lounge. I, of course, am your host, the captain of the cool kids, host of the Grown Man Logic podcast, DeJuan J. And I hope that all is well. For those of y'all that are unfamiliar with this content, first off, where have you been? And secondly, I am an author, pro wrestler, motivational speaker, and life coach. And of course, host of the Grown Man Logic podcast, where we believe in building better people through accountability and critical thinking. Accountability and critical thinking. And that's going to be key. You heard the intro. You see the thumbnail. We have began a series based off of respect. And we're going to break it down. Last week, we broke down responsibility. And we talked about why responsible men are attractive to women. And basically, this entire series is going to be geared towards you fellas and showing you how to up the pressure, showing you how to take it to the next level, how to ascend to the next level. And tonight, we're going to discuss efforts. But before we get into that, where are my manners? Our drink of the evening, brought to you in this beautiful 14.5 ounce highball glass, available at shopgrownmanlogicpod.com. Shop grownmanlogicpod.com is a white gummy bear cocktail. A white gummy bear cocktail. That 12th gauge gave him life in the 12th grade. I tried to write him, but we ain't on the same page. I caught him slipping. I just had to let him know. The end of time's end. I know, but it's refreshing. Just what the doctor needed, okay? So we began this series because everyone's talking about it. Urine in the dating pool. Dating pool's been poisoned. It's trash. And once you start to break down the numbers and the statistics and you take a critical look at it and you analyze what's going on, it all boils down to a lack of respect for men. A lack of respect for men. Now, when it comes to pointing the finger at this, you look and men, it's our fault. You can blame absent fathers, lack of a male presence or role model on both sides, on both the man and the woman side. You can blame, a lack of morals. You can blame feminism to some degree because the need for women to be treated as equal has oftentimes made them begin to flash their own penis. But it's not about the women this evening. It's not. We're going to talk about men. And we're going to be talking about effort. Effort. A vigorous or determined attempt. A vigorous or determined attempt in anything that you do. And before we get to the relationship aspect of it, we have to begin to up our pressure as men, because we can't exert effort or show effort or display effort when it comes to relationships if that's not built in us initially. We talked about responsibility, and we talked last week when we talked about flashing $4,000 to $5,000 cash, and your car payment is past due. We talked about why responsibility is attractive. Now, effort. You have to give a damn. You have to not only live, but you have to thrive. Because if you're not of that mindset, if you're not of that ilk, then you are unqualified to date women. You're unqualified to date anybody. You're unqualified because you have no drive to provide for yourself, to thrive for yourself, to make an overall better living for all people involved. And if you think like that, or if you casually breeze through life, flow through life like it's a breeze with no drive to build better and get better each and every day, you're just going to end up hurting people. You're a waste of time. And that's what we're trying to prevent. A waste of time. We've heard time and time again that it takes around 21 days to establish a habit. And there are many books and psychological exercises and life exercises on how to begin to establish the habit of just trying. One of my favorite examples of this is the example of making your bed. The author says that the first step to success is getting out of your bed and making it. Why? Because you're already accomplishing things the minute you step foot on the ground. The effort has to begin with emotional intelligence, money, and confidence. Those are the three major areas. And this is prior to even meeting women or prior to attempting to get into the dating market whatsoever at all. This is fundamental, and you should already possess this before you put yourself in any dating market. Why? Because at the end of the day, women would rather remain single than to get with a man that's unqualified to date her or that's going to waste her time. Now, I hear you. I'm not a dating guru. I'm not a coach in the relationship aspect, but I am a coach in upping the pressure and putting you in the best position to reap the benefit of all things that life has to offer you. I am a coach at getting you into the room, presenting the opportunity, or getting you to the opportunity, and then the outcome is contingent upon you. But if you follow these steps, you take heed to what I'm trying to teach you, you will. You'll get into the room, you'll crush your metrics, and you'll thrive. Now, excuse me. We have to put in effort in order for these things to happen, in order for these things to take place. When polled, what keeps a relationship going? What makes a woman happy? And before I even pull the stats or put the statistic out there, you see it on a day-to-day basis. You see, Pookie and Ray Ray and Tyrone and, anybody out there that's watching this with any of these names or nicknames, right? It's not a personal shot. I don't know anybody by these names, but he's able to drop his girl off at work and go home and play video games all day. Go home and smoke weed. Go home and get on Instagram and get yelled at about double tapping or leaving an emoji under a picture or something like that because there's no effort exerted. These are all mindless tasks. Tasks to be completed through muscle memory. Tasks that a man that is on purpose and a man that is on task, a man exuding effort, attempting to make himself better, quite frankly, does not have time to do. We've seen it. He drops her off at work and he goes and he cheats, he smokes his weed, he plays his video games, he's chilling out with the boys, going out for drinks, spending her money. Because these men give the appearance of giving effort. "68% of single men are actually looking for relationships. 68% of single men are actually looking for relationships, and 38% of single women are looking for relationships. What does that tell us? What can be gained from this amount of information or this metric? It tells you that men want relationships more than women do. Men prefer the stability, the preparedness, and anybody in a relationship, a happy one, a marriage, a long-term relationship, a father, anyone with a family, any man with a family will tell you that once you get into that relationship, it's kind of how you start to identify. It's kind of how that becomes your purpose, making sure that your family's good, the kids are in school, the woman's happy, and this is where the cap starts. This is where the getting flown out on vacation starts, the moods and the vibes of rose petals on beds in some exotic resort, Turks and Caicos, Belize, France. All of this happens because it's a man stroking his own ego about making a woman happy. But in order to afford these things, there has to be some form of effort to put yourself in a position to make this money. But let me back up, right? We were talking about money, emotional intelligence, and confidence. All of these things come from putting forth effort. Why? Because you put forth effort, you're rewarded or compensated for your effort monetarily. You put forth effort to better yourself. You develop emotional intelligence, your likes, your dislikes, your boundaries are set, what you will take, what you won't take. And that begins to calibrate your moral compass, but you're actually doing the work on yourself to discover who you are and what you will and will not tolerate. And confidence. Nobody fails at every single thing that they try. Nobody. The small victories are what matter. And these things are developed as a result of putting forth effort. Once you start to achieve and complete tasks, then you become more confident. I can do this. I got this. Whether you're Steph Curry and you're shooting threes from the locker room, shooting free throws with your eyes closed, shooting from half court, the logo, whether you're Jordan with the tongue out, dunking on anybody, whether you're Vince Carter, snatching quarters off the backboard, whether you're Prince, Michael Jackson, Chris Brown, knowing they can make a hit. Now, these are celebrities, but let's take the average Joe. Let's take the broker, the mortgage broker, the stock broker. These guys can close deals with their eyes closed, and they're confident about it. We saw the movie Wolf of Wall Street. We see how it goes now, right? Successfully. Because the effort has been there, and the effort drives repetition, and that repetition then drives confidence. Why am I telling you this, and why does this matter? Because if you're emotionally intelligent, confident, and financially secure, most women will tell you that everything else can be worked out. Most bosses will tell you that everything else can be worked out. I'll hire you because you're confident in the job, and you made me believe that you can get this done. We don't have to worry about you blowing up in the wrong areas or at the wrong time or when things don't go your way. That's both corporate, that's regular 9 to 5, that's also in relationships. I don't have to worry about you blowing up because you've done work on yourself and you know when you need to take time. Hey, I need to take 10, I need to take 5. We know this. And we know that you're not gonna explode inside of our office spaces. And financially secure. Well, that brings a level of confidence all by itself. But it's sexy. It's something alluring about that. And once these things are mastered by a man, that man begins to walk a little bit different. There's a little more pep in the step. There's a little more swagger. Now, again, fast forward. Now you've got the girl. Or you've got her attention. Allegedly. But like I was saying in the intro, the instant gratification, the dating pool, men aren't putting forth effort anymore to attract anybody or do anything. Several examples of this can be cited, whether it's in the podcast field, somebody looking for a collaboration opportunity or a collaboration attempt. Cool, everything's informal, we're pretty much laid back, but if you're serious about your brand and you're serious about your business, then when you reach out, even if it's not email, even if it's DM, if it's reply to some, there has to be a level of professionalism there. There has to be a level of thought that's going to make the other person, the recipient, believe that it's a good idea. There is a Twitter stream that's going on right now. And it's a woman complaining, well, a woman's retweeting, but she's complaining that men are no longer putting in effort when it comes time to get their attention. The woman posts a picture, a meme, something to her story. Doesn't necessarily have to be sexy or risque. Doesn't necessarily have to be a thirst trap, so to speak. But, only thing that men are doing are commenting fire emojis, commenting hard eye emojis. Cool. Got it. But what are you doing to set yourself apart from the next guy? Because if 30 guys are talking to her, you're probably 27 out of 30 on the list of things that are not being responded to because there's no effort. There's nothing thought-provoking about it. You're not putting in work to engage your audience. On job interviews, if you went in there, just imagine this for a second, fellas. Close your eyes. You're going into your dream job. And the boss is going to give you an opportunity. He's going to sit down and he's going to talk with you. Are you just going to walk in there and hand him a picture of a fire emoji? Are you going to hand him a picture of heart eyes emojis? Are you going to hand him a picture of the money bag? No. We have to talk. We have to engage. Because this sets the precedent for how the rest of the relationship is going to go. You can't put gas in a car only a few times and expect it to run forever. Continuous care about the distance that's traveled is required. In other words, or to make it relative, you can't go to the gym for a season and you get a little bit of muscles, get a little, a few veins popping, and all of a sudden you stop going to the gym. You're going to be a has-been. You can't be spontaneous, romantic in the beginning of a relationship, and then let that fall off. Because then when you're asked, where are you? Who are you? You're not the person that I fell in. That's 100% correct, because you stopped doing the things that you were doing. You got complacent. You got comfortable. You stopped putting in the effort. Psychology Today says that men need relationships more than women. And as a result of that, men fall in love faster and harder. Men typically fall in love or say that I love you to the woman within 88 days. And for women, it's 132 days. Now, I'm not sure if that's conditioning. I'm not sure if that's chemically wired, or I'm not sure how that is. But try and put yourself in a situation almost parallel to the Matrix, right? There's a bunch of Agent Smiths. You don't know which one is real, and you need to set yourself apart. You need to find a middle ground between being the caveman, the thoughtless, me like you, me want job, me want money, and the simp. Oh, grand rising queen. I'll drink your bathwater, queen. No, you have to find a middle ground and set yourself apart from both of these echelons, and that takes effort. It takes some spontaneity. It takes thought-provoking yet simple gestures. Most people that meet you, that ask something of you, that want you around in their lives, don't want anything extravagant. Something thought-provoking, something that shows that you know them and shows that you appreciate them. Just a little bit of effort. That's all we're saying. Brush your teeth, brush your hair. Think outside of the box every now and then. And real quick, here's how to tell that somebody's getting too comfortable, okay? You're getting too comfortable, and this is both relationship, job, life. All of this is relative. 10 examples of when someone's getting too comfortable. You are putting conversations and needs off for some undefined date. It shows that you're not on purpose, not on tasks. We talked about it last week when we talked about responsible people have apps, calendars, and things like that, right? And that requires effort. It requires effort to do. Are you beginning to see how we're unpacking this now? You stop doing what you enjoy doing. You lose yourself. You lose yourself because you no longer enjoy what you're doing because it has become mundane to you, because it's muscle memory. I can do this in my sleep. Even children that the work is too easy for them inside of school, they tend to get in trouble because they're bored. There's nothing challenging about them anymore. And as a result of that, there's nothing new, nothing exciting. You start to take your partners for granted, be it business, friendship, relationship, family. You start to take their presence for granted. You start to be snarky and sarcastic. Inside a relationship, sex is no longer sexy. It becomes like a chore. Or you prefer somebody else, or you have to think about somebody else to get off. Not being fully engaged in conversation. Not taking care of yourself. That's physical fitness, emotional intelligence, financial fitness, smelling good, looking good, presenting the best version of yourself. You stop doing that once you get too comfortable. You don't actively show appreciation. And that one is probably the biggest one. It costs little to nothing to think about somebody that did a favor for you or provides value to your life. Fellas, you're walking through the grocery store, you're picking up some milk for your cereal, you're, whatever. Just stop at the front, get a $10 thing of flowers. It's nothing special to you. It's not that back-breaking to you, but it'll mean the world. Oh, my man thought of me. Effort. And I'm not asking you to break your back, just show that you're trying. You begin to ignore personal boundaries when you get too comfortable. You become a little too familiar. And if you ignore those personal boundaries, then the blur of roles and responsibilities and desires becomes too much. Now you violate this person unintentionally. But every time you do that, it shows that you give less and less of a damn. And the attraction diminishes. The desire to be around you diminishes. All because you thinklessly walk through your life. And then you assume you can read the other person's mind. Whether that's subordinate, senior, boss at work, family members, anybody that you get into any sort of interaction with. You assume that you can read their mind because you've gotten too comfortable. Oh, if I say this, they're just gonna say this, so I'm not even gonna talk about it. You're killing communication. You're taking options out of the other person's hands, and it's not fair. And it all could have been solved with just a little bit of effort. So what am I saying? I'm not asking you to go out and break your back and become a slave to business or a slave to love or a slave to sex or anything like that. I'm just asking for you to put in a little bit of effort. Invest effort into yourself, and the equity or the return on investment is going to be better outcomes, better desires, a better life where you can live, not just exist, and you can thrive, not just survive. But you have to try. You have to show up. We've been trying out for teams, trying out for things, interviewing, since we were babies, pretty much. Where has that gone? Where has the trying gone? Where has the passion and the I'm gonna be different gone? We don't practice it. But let Twitter tell it. We're the shit with no flaws. Let Instagram tell it our life is perfect. Let Facebook's like the Jerry Springer of social media, but we'll leave it right here. We will leave it right here. I just have to say, nothing beats failure but a try. And if you're putting in effort, you're leaving somebody with something that they can work with. You may not be perfect at it. You may not even be good at it. You may not even be decent, but at least you're trying. And if you're trying, somebody can always meet you where you are and show you how to up the pressure. Thank you guys for stopping by the lounge. Join us next week when we talk about strength. This has been your episode of the VSOP Lounge. We'll see you next week. Cheers.